my name's Gabriella. Welcome to my channel where we talk about and do loads of creative things, especially lots of theatre, because as you may know, if you watched one of my videos a couple of weeks ago, you'll know that I got into drama school, and come September I will be studying for a Masters in Musical Theatre. So I wanted to make a big video on everything I've learned over my years auditioning for drama school. I've made a couple videos in the past over the years of things I've learned from auditions and doing courses and things, and I kind of wanted to update those and do a big what I've learned over the course of the 13 auditions I've done over 3 years, and a lot of things that aren't really talked about a lot in your general audition video tips or the audition experiences that people talk about, but just things that have become apparent to me over the years and the many auditions and things people have told me in courses and things. So although I was only auditioning for Masters in Musical Theatre, this is very relevant for literally anyone applying for drama school, so do not be put off if you're like, well, I'm not applying for a Masters, because it'll still be relevant. So these kind of things, we're going to talk about things specifically for on the day at the audition, and then general things, and they're all kind of a little bit random order, so we'll just get into it. So first thing is, most auditions that I've been to, there have been current students there that you can talk to. Use that opportunity, talk to them. It's really interesting to hear from other people what got them into drama school, like what route they took there, and also what the school is like. I think both of those things are really important, because hearing what other people did before they got in can be really good to give you ideas if you don't get in from this audition of other things that you could be doing to help you prepare. And also just hearing about the school, just really making sure that that's somewhere you want to go, because a lot of drama schools, they don't really do open days or, you know, talks with the tutors unless you're actually getting an interview as part of your audition. So really use this audition day to find out as much about the school as you possibly can, and whether it's somewhere you actually want to go, because the website's only going to tell you so much. So secondly, wear clothes you feel comfortable in. Do not worry about what you look like, just make sure you're comfortable. I think a lot of people get it in their heads. I've done this before, and it doesn't help that a lot of the teachers, especially at the bigger schools, will say things like they can tell when someone they think would work at their school literally walks in the room. Like as soon as they walk in the room, they're able to tell that they would fit in at the school. So you can kind of feel a bit of pressure to present yourself in a certain way, like, you know, wear certain clothes. And honestly, the most important thing is comfort, that you feel comfortable in what you're wearing, and not just like physical comfort of like, oh, these clothes are like really comfy, but that you actually feel comfortable doing everything in them. Not just, oh, these leggings are very soft, but like they cover what I want them to cover, and I don't feel embarrassed like doing stuff in them. I've been to auditions where half the group's in leotards and tights and the other half is in tracksuit bottoms and t-shirts, and people from both halves get in. Like, it really does not matter what you wear. Number 3, talk to people. It'll help you relax, and also they're watching you pretty much all the time, and being able to quickly connect with people and get on with other people is really important in acting in general, and they want to see that you're someone who can fit in with the group. I mean, this is something really small and like nitpicky, but like, well, not nitpicky, but like I can't think of another word, so it's like such a small thing. Grand scheme of things might not make a difference, but it could be one of those like deciding factor things when they're really coming down to it. I have no idea if it actually is or not, but I know that they look for people who can get on with other people. And obviously don't be gossiping, because they'll tell you to shut up if you're gossiping too much, and that's not going to look good either. But it can give a good impression if you're like able to engage and get on with other people, and it will just chill you out a bit. Next, treat the whole audition like a performance. Honestly, changing my mindset so that I treated my singing and my monologue as a performance instead of an audition helped me so much with nerves. You know that feeling when you've been up and you've done your song and then all you want to do is get back up there and do it again? Try channel that when you're watching other people do their song. Even if I'm nervous about something now, by the time I've watched several people do their song, I'm usually like really wanting to get up and do it, and I still feel nervous, but also there's an underlying feeling of wanting to get up and do my thing. Also, channel this by doing your better song first if you have the option to, because by the time you've done your first song and then you're like, yeah, I want to do it again, that'll make you feel a lot more comfortable to go into your second song that maybe isn't quite as strong or you're not quite as comfortable with, and just being a bit more relaxed will help with that massively. Learn from everyone around you. Literally, the standard at Masters auditions was insane, and you can learn so much from watching other people, so make sure you really take in what everyone else is doing. That being said, the best time to implement things that you've seen other people do and, you know, try them out isn't necessarily in the audition. I've had this happen a couple times, usually with the monologues for some unknown reason, where I've just got the urge to try it in a completely different way than I've ever done before, and then I've done it, and then someone else has gone and done theirs in a completely different direction, and I've realised that what I intended to happen with my monologue maybe didn't come across how I intended it to, and I think it would have been better for me on all of those occasions to just have like not done drastic changes there and then. So you can be influenced, but I wouldn't say make any drastic changes there and then because you don't know how they're gonna come across. So don't do it unless you're really sure in what you're doing. But that being said, at the same time, do be open to redirections. Sometimes they like to, you know, change things around, make things different. They'll put you in situations that you wouldn't normally do your monologue in, just to try throw you a bit, see how you react and adapt. So you do need to be flexible. And that's a little bit contradictory, I'm fully aware. My general advice for this, I would say, is go with your gut and hope for the best. And then you don't need to be the loudest or be able to sing the highest or riff the most. They can teach you to do all that. They're not interested so much. More often than not, they're interested in technique and storytelling over flashy things. Obviously then don't choose a really easy song because that's not going to show off anything, but like only pick that song with that top F or whatever if you can hit it reliably every single time. Don't throw something in that you're not comfortable with just because you think it'll help you stand out. It will, but not for the right reasons. Acting through song is important. Touched on this briefly earlier. You know they're watching you all the time, so just try not to think about that. I know that's a lot easier said than done, but not really sure what else to say there. Just remember to be polite, respectful, and eager to learn, and you'll be fine. And again, with the panel, don't pay any attention to what's going on with their faces because they lie. I've had some of the most supportive people on the panel ever. So many of them are so lovely, and they'll make you feel like you've done amazingly even if you've done horribly. And so you can come out of something and they'll be like, and they'll be giving you like, you know, reactions that make you think you've got a chance, and then you won't get a call back. So just try pretend the panel is not even there. What I quite like to do is treat the day like a workshop, because aside from the fact that you don't get feedback, it pretty much is just a workshop all day. So if you treat it like one, that can make it a lot less intimidating. Also, in some ways, I find it a lot easier to assume that I won't get it, that basically the whole day is a workshop insofar as nothing comes after it. Like, you still want to remember this is your performance, this is your time to shine, show them what you can do, but at the same time just not have an expectation of anything happening afterwards, and then that can take a whole load of pressure off you. For interviews, there will always be questions that you want answered, so always go into the interview prepared with questions you want answered. Really look into everything, do your homework on the school, like look into everything, its alumni, the course. If you can't think of anything, imagine that you've gotten in, and what do you want to know before the course starts? Like, if you got in, you're probably not going to turn up on the first day knowing as much as you do now. What do you want to be in the information pack? And also saying that, make sure you've looked on the website and you're not asking things that are literally in bold on the course page. Some things that you might want to think about, like what's the class size? What specific dance classes do they do if it's musical theatre? Because not all schools do tap, and some do other things like acro or commercial as well. What are the accommodation options? Do they help you out with that? What are the agents' success rates like? And how are parts allocated for the shows throughout the year? Do you need to audition for the roles, or are they just allocated by the teachers as they see fit? Do they kind of rotate who gets the lead roles? And as well as that, prepare answers for things that they may ask. Don't go in with like set phrase answers, but just go through, think about what they might ask and come up with ideas for it. I've done a whole video on interview advice and like what sorts of things they might ask, so go check that out. Put a link somewhere. Finally, for interviews, I've noticed that in interviews where I've then been offered a place afterwards, there's been quite a big focus in the interview on what they can do for me. I'm not saying use this as an indication of whether you're getting an offer or not, but if they are really interested in you, in my experience, that's what they've tended to talk a bit more about. Like, obviously it's not the whole interview, there's lots of other parts of the interview as well, but I've definitely noticed much more of a focus on that. So literally just me thinking this through with just my logic and no actual firm backing to this at all, I'm speculating that if you bring in questions targeted at what the school can offer you, it'll put them more in a mindset of someone they might offer a place to. Use some psychology on them. Like I said before, don't bring in a question where the answer is clearly visible on the website and make it look like you haven't done any homework at all and you don't really care about the school, but ask questions that like are relevant to you. Show that you have a real interest and that you've done your homework, because regardless of whether my theory that this will put them in a better mindset towards you, I don't know, showing that you have a real interest and you've done the work, well, that's going to make them think that you're the type of hardworking person that they want on their course. So then, in general, let rejection motivate you. Don't think, oh, well, that person's just wrong. Reflect. Look at what you've done and see what you could have done better. You really need to be thinking, what can I do now? What else am I able to do to make myself better? Equally, don't think you need to change anything about you personally. If you didn't think you did anything wrong, possibly it just wasn't the right fit and they didn't think that as a school they would be able to offer you what you needed, which will always be an issue, so don't beat yourself up about it. Basically, don't change your personality or anything, just focus on what technique you could be doing better. Then you should also do as many auditions as you can. This is probably one of the things I found most useful. I learned so much from every single audition I went to. And I know it's expensive to do drama school auditions, but honestly, try do as many as possible. If you can't go to actual drama school auditions, just try do auditions in general. Find local theatre productions to audition for. If you're really desperate and can't find many auditions, even apply to audition for shows that you don't think you can do, just for the audition experience. If you go to classes or you have like music class at school, ask if you can do a mock audition in front of the whole class and practice your etiquette with the pianist and introducing yourself. And don't just focus on one area. If you're going into musical theatre, like auditioning for a musical theatre course, it is okay to be weaker in one area, but you do need to work consistently on all three disciplines and not just all of them separately, because you need to combine them. You're not just gonna stand on stage and sing and then do some dancing and then some acting. You're gonna combine them all together in an actual musical theatre show. So practice your acting through song. Practice acting while you're dancing, feeling the emotions of the song that you're dancing to. If you're going for straight acting, don't forget your Shakespeare. Do some screen acting practice or improv and your physicality and movement in general. If you're going for screen acting, you should still think about, straight acting as well. And also, I've heard the rumour mills going around about some people going for acting auditions being asked to sing during their auditions just to, see if they'll get out of their comfort zone. So just kind of go and be prepared for anything. So I guess some other things that you could do is go out in general and do things that put you outside of your comfort zone, because that will prepare you for being put outside your comfort zone in the audition, which they most probably will be doing. Go see shows put on by the school you're auditioning for if you possibly can. It'll give you a really great taste of the school and what you can expect to achieve by studying there. And finally, see theatre in general. Follow creatives and performers and theatres and things on social media so you can see what's going on in the theatre world. Find out what's going on in the theatre world in the country, around the world even. Learn about the history of musical theatre. Like, for example, if you're applying for a degree in, say, history, you wouldn't apply knowing absolutely nothing about the country's history, world history. You would go in with your basic knowledge of some basic world history, major world events, current affairs. You would go in with quite a lot of knowledge in that area, and then the degree would deepen that knowledge and you would really like delve into specifics. And it's the same with a drama degree. You should already know a lot about it, not just the singing techniques and everything, but the history and the big names, famous practitioners. You should already know about these things so that when you get there, they don't need to teach you the basics already. They can just deepen and really get to the specifics and broaden your horizon. Don't go into your interview or the audition only knowing about a couple of shows you've seen, not knowing who wrote them or like who Sondheim is and singing on my own. Show that you really care about the industry and career path that you've chosen by doing your homework. I've said this quite a few times already. It's really about preparing as much as you possibly can. And also by doing that, you'll be exposed to new styles and performers and new shows that you can be inspired by. You can learn from the performances and get ideas for audition material or roles that you might be suited to. So that is everything I can think of at the moment. If I think of loads more or get loads more questions, I'll definitely do another video on it. If you have something specific you want me to talk about, let me know and I'll definitely go into it. And obviously I'm going to try my best to keep you updated throughout my drama school experience. So there's that as well. If you have any questions or advice to offer to other people auditioning, then please do share them down below in the comments. And I hope you're all staying safe and well. Bye!